Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota and I'm an ENFJ, and I have a message to share to the INFJs today because, and this was all inspired from something an ENFP said to me today, which was, why are INFJs so depressed seeming all the time? So this was an ENFP's words. They were being a little bit dramatic and facetious with it, but this ENFP was realizing that they have sort of idealized and the idea of an INFJ, but that the INFJs that she has actually met in her life, she's had like issues with, because it seems from her perspective that INFJs do not, they aren't forthright enough about where they stand, what their feelings are. It can be hard for people such as an ENFP to gloss over or get the gist of what an INFJ is all about. They can seem very private from an ENFP's perspective. So I want to share with you what I told this ENFP, because I think that it would be useful for others to know as well. INFJs are not adaptable. They're not. I said in other videos that INFJs have this ability where they just are not impressionable. The world does not make them as impressionable as anybody that has SI at all. The world is built for SJs. The system that we know of is built for SJs, and NJs cannot adapt to it. They just can't. NPs can try and adapt to it and make it their own and everything. NJs, we're not adaptable. Like INFJs in particular, it's almost like they came out of the womb as a sage, and then now they're like, have this like wisdom or whatever that nobody even seems to value or care about, but like they have it anyway. They're just like sort of walking around the world, and the system, anything SI, does not affect them. Like, I've said this before, but like INFJs would be the type to grow up in a small town with parents and people that don't really understand or accept them, and then they just come out as gay at age 13 or something, and just to them it wasn't brave because that was just the reality. The thing for INFJs is that they're painfully self-aware, and the more self-aware you are, you aren't you're gonna notice all the nuance in who you are, and it's gonna make you not want to share things because you can't just sum it up with one word, because they get so overwhelmed with everything that they are that it's not something that they can easily share. And so when you're seeing an INFJ that is not telling you all there is to know about who they are, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're super shy or super scared of you. Maybe they just literally don't know the words to say because they feel like such an alien all the time. They can't pretend to fit in the way that NPs can. And I understand that all intuitives have this sort of thing where we can feel weird or alien to the world, and that's valid, and I understand that NE DOMs might feel that way. But if you're an NE DOM, you are an adaptable person just by nature, where you are good at guessing and pretending and sort of reading between the lines and making things work in a way where an INFJ is not going to do that. An INFJ is going to be all or nothing. They were going to need to process everything they know and then put it out there. A lot of them are total perfectionists as well. So I think people really ought to go a lot easier on them and make less assumptions about them. People make assumptions about everybody, but I think that you're more likely than not going to be wrong if you make an assumption about an INFJ, because they aren't really communicating all that they are. So it's like for NI, it can take so long to process what that wisdom is. By the time it comes out in the SE, there's like a delay of some sort, where to me it seems like the INFJ knows all of what they are, but there are only some areas to which the INFJ has gotten comfortable sharing. So maybe an INFJ is comfortable sharing their comedy, maybe an INFJ is comfortable sharing their soft side, maybe they're comfortable sharing their intellectual side. There's always going to be one side that they have gotten more comfortable with than others, but in their inner world, they are all of those sides. And I think that INFJs can appear adaptable when they're using their FE. They can smooth over situations. But internally, they aren't going to change the core of who they are. They don't know how. It's not that they are braver or stronger or better than any other type. They don't know how to pretend to be what they're not. And that can either be a blessing or a curse. They can let that eat them alive and feel even more alone and just dig themselves into a hole. And they can feel like intense despair and feel like they don't belong anywhere. Or they can create a new world where they belong, where they can create little spaces of like a group of friends or a place at work, a place where they belong. They know who they are, and they aren't gonna pretend. Like they can't enter a room and just trick themselves into I don't know, like these people are intense, more intense than you would think. And I feel like they're constantly underestimated by people that don't see their gifts because they aren't spelling it out for you. You have to actually take a look yourself and find what their gifts are, which are right there in front of you if you just look. Like, it's so obvious to me. And I mean, obviously I'm biased as an ENFJ, but the wisdom of an INFJ is so obvious to me. All you have to do is look. If you are trying to figure them out or make assumptions, you are going to get them wrong, because they are not you got to empathize with how hard it is to be an NI dom in a world built for SJs, where the NPs are over here making it work, faking it till they make it, and INJs aren't doing that. They're stuck unless they found a mentor, or they've gotten lucky, or they've figured out a way to put themselves out there, you know. And I mean, a lot of them have. I'm not saying that they're all like these sad people sitting in their basements. I mean, the thing is that culturally this will be different depending on where you're actually from, but a lot of them prefer to be alone, because when they're alone, it's the one place where they truly fit in, you know? It's like they actually can take the mask off and just feel free, like just totally themselves. They want to feel totally themselves. Like they want to feel like everything they're doing is aligned with who they are, who they really, really are. They're painfully self-aware. And the more self-aware you are, that doesn't actually make living any easier. I mean, it can, but a lot of times being self-aware of your problems just means that you aren't numb and you aren't ignorant to things. And they're just very pure and raw, I think. They don't know how to numb themselves. They don't know how to cope. They don't know how to pretend. That's why they can feel despair. So anyway, if you're an NP watching this, be grateful for your NE and be grateful for how adaptable you are and how it can help you avoid certain situations that NJs don't know how to avoid. And if you're an INFJ, know that you're not alone, and that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people like you out there, and that the world really does need your voice. Like, and I'm not trying to pressure you, I'm not trying to be that annoying, pushy ENFJ, but the world does need your voice, and you aren't as crazy as you think that you are, because all you have to do when you put yourself out there more and be comfortable putting yourself in places you don't have to worry about the places influencing who you are, because you can trust that you have that core. Where then if you walk out into the world, you are going to be influencing them a lot more than you think. And I know you doubt your own influence, but you guys have influenced me and made me more comfortable. And so that's at least one person. I know that you influence people more than you realize. And I know you want to protect who you are, and you don't want things to feel hypocritical, and you don't want things to feel forced. But I'm telling you, if you put yourself out there more than you are now, not a lot, I'm not saying you have to be an extrovert, if you put yourself out there just a little bit more, you're going to influence the world around you, and you're going to be a very powerful agent in making the world a better place. I promise you. So thank you so much for watching. If you like videos like these, please subscribe. And I have a Facebook group as well, Personality Typology for Self-Growth. I would love to hear your insights, and have a wonderful rest of your day.